If I were a nurse that started in 2026, this is what I would tell myself. Let's acknowledge that as a new nurse, you're excited, you are having hope. You actually also have a little bit of fear and pressure as well, because there's going to be this thing about performing that's going to be in the back of your mind when you start your new job. And so, as a nurse and a nurse leader in maternal child, I was in NICU, mother baby, and labor and delivery. I witnessed so many new nurses come in, and they came in with this sense of hope, this sense of excitement. And then when they start going through their orientation and beyond, you can see some of the light being dim. And so I want to equip you with an acronym that actually will help you to manage you before you learn and excel in documentation, learning your policy and procedures, and all the things that we have to learn. I want to equip you with this because this is what I would tell myself right now in 2026 because of the times that we're living in. The first thing that I would tell you is that you belong here and that you are not alone. You are going to have a tendency to feel like you are all by yourself, but you absolutely belong here because you made the choice to serve humanity in the way that nurses do. And so you responded and you said yes to the call of being a nurse. And so that's why you belong here. You have to make sure that you have that conviction that why you are going into the profession in the first place. Because when the troubling times come, when the storms come, when the challenges just come, when the overwhelm comes, when the exhaustion comes, you're going to have to be able to go back to this why, the courage of your conviction of why you started nursing in the first place. That is why you belong in the room. Now, let me tell you another thing that I would say if I was starting in 2026. I would say release your need to prove yourself to others because this is going to be a big thing. Nurses, we come in, we're like, okay, I had everything, I did all of my schooling. I passed my boards. I've done a lot of the things that I need to do, but there's this tendency to want to prove yourself to those that you're working with, to your preceptor. Let's just get this out of the way. You're new. So you're not expected to know everything already on your first day or even your first year. So don't feel the need to prove yourself. And the reason why I'm saying this, if you go in and you have the mindset that I got to prove myself to everybody that I belong here, that I know what I'm doing, then you're going to get to a space where there's something that you don't know. And instead of saying something or asking a question, you'll get silent. And silence is not going to help you when it's time for you to grow. Silence is not going to help when it's time for you to make sure that you're being safe in your practice. Very, very important. I want you to know that you're in a learning curve. Be open and listen to all of the information that is coming in. Ask questions. Professionalism, ask questions. You have to ask questions. I'm saying that over and over again because there's that silence again when we want to prove ourselves, when we want to show people that we can fit in, that we know what we're doing. But be open and allow the team, the nurses, to give you all the wisdom that you can actually fit in your mind for that particular day because it's going to be so much information. Don't go in like a know-it-all. That is really a dangerous thing to do because then people will begin to see, okay, well, she knows it all. Okay, I'm going to let her do it. But you want to make sure that you stay open. And I stay open and I was in that curiosity mode, that question asking mode for my whole year when I started in the NICU. Because as a new grad, I started in the NICU. And it was a major learning curve, but it was an awesome one at the same time. But I opened myself up to learn from everybody that would actually teach me something. And so the next thing that I would tell you is expect uncertainty. Uncertainty is part of the package. You know, you were in school, you learned one way, you learned how to do things in a controlled setting. Now you're going to be in a complex system that's actively moving very fast. And so there is going to be uncertainty there. There's going to be an element where you're going to feel like, okay, I'm an imposter. I really shouldn't be here. You know what I'm talking about. The imposter syndrome is the mindset that has this quiet voice saying that you don't belong or that you're not good enough. That's what's going to pop up. And it's going to pop up in the form of, oh my God, everybody else seems like they know what they're doing. Or it's going to pop up like, well, I don't really know all of the things I need to know. Things feel a little bit too new, but the voice inside of you will try to make you feel like you don't know what you're going to do or you don't know enough. So you're not going to ask that question because guess what? If you ask that question, they're going to think you're not smart and that you don't know what you're doing. You're new, remember. So you don't have to accept the imposter syndrome. You just need to stay open and say, I am learning everything that I need to. I know that I belong here. I've been called to this. I want to do well. And remember, confidence doesn't come from perfection. You are not going to be perfect. You are not going to be perfect. So let's get that in your head. You have to cultivate the skills of reflection, repetition. You know, repetition is the mother of all learning, and support. Feel supported. Allow the support to help you in every way that you can, because there will be a lot of people that are willing to help you. You just want to make sure that you receive the help. And then the next thing that I would tell you, to anchor yourself in your presence. Your presence is very powerful. Yeah, you won't have all of the skills down yet, but you do have your presence. And that's something that you can cultivate right now. So I would definitely tell myself, Charlene, work on your presence. And the reason why I say that is because patients can feel your energy. Coworkers can feel your energy. And so before you enter a room, that is a wonderful place to pause, especially if you feel your nerves getting the best of you. It's the best place to pause and just take a deep breath so that you can recenter yourself and then go into that room, because your presence can bring calm to that room before you even have mastered the skill. And patients pick up on your energy. So master taking care of your presence first. You know, there's a sign, it says, take responsibility for your own energy before you enter the building, because your words matter, your behavior matter, and the patients need you to be your best or something like that. But it's so good because you are in control and in charge of your energy. So it's so important to know that your presence has the power to heal, has the power to be there for another person. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the patients will be counting on you. The least I can do is make sure that I start out now as a new nurse practicing my presence. And that's with simple breathing techniques. And then the next thing that I think I would tell you is to trust your voice. This is a big one, especially for new grads and for new nurses, because you're afraid to speak up. You're afraid to say something. You're afraid to say, I don't know what I'm doing. You're afraid to say, hey, this is really a heavy assignment. You're afraid. So you have to trust your voice. Do not suffer in silence. If you are struggling with something, don't be a know-it-all and try to say, no, I got this. No, you have nurses there that are ready to support you. They want to see you succeed because you're the next generation coming up. But you have to be open to receive from them. Trust your voice. When you feel like you are overwhelmed to the point that you may not practice at your best, then pay attention to those subtle signs as well. That's why you have to trust your voice. And so the next thing that I would probably tell you, hold on to your humanity. I want you to hold on to your humanity, because I've seen new nurses become automatons. And yes, you have to learn the task. So you are literally learning task after task after task when you're a new nurse. And that's good. We want to do that. But imagine if you can actually partner with learning tasks, the actual act of being seen by humanity. In other words, the patients will feel seen by you if you can also make a personal connection. So your ability to perhaps take a temperature, but also connect at the same time is amazing. I've seen so many nurses, new nurses, they come in, they just start taking a temperature, they start taking a blood pressure. They never even said good morning or hello, how you doing today? The tendency, because you're on a learning curve, is going to be, let me hurry up. I got to hurry up and do this. But I want you to slow down long enough to look in the face of another human being and take their temperature and ask them how they're doing, take their blood pressure. And that's where you can have a little bit of small talk. And I'm telling you this early on because you can become a master of personal connection. And there is a lot of secret sauce in being able to connect with humanity, the humanity that you're serving, as well as being a clinical expert at the same time. So connect with your presence. The other thing I think I would tell you is to extend grace to yourself. It's going to be a very challenging time as a new grad because the health care system is complex. We have a lot going on in the world now. We have sicker patients. We have a lot. So you are going to feel so stretched that you have to give yourself grace. And so if you don't feel like you're getting it within the first 3 months, 6 months, give yourself grace. It's not going to really feel good until you're probably beyond that first year. I didn't really feel confident in what I was doing until probably about a year and a half, especially in the NICU where you're dealing with such a small, tiny little population. But I would encourage you to give yourself at least a year so that you can acclimate to what you're doing. And I also would tell you this: take care of yourself now. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, as I was teaching some of my nursing students, I asked them about what are they doing to take care of themselves. And literally, probably 98% of them said, I am not doing anything for myself because I'm too busy. I'm studying, I'm passing my exams, I'm reading. There's a lot that is on our plate. So I don't have time to take care of myself. But I'm telling you now, as a new nurse, if you want to sustain yourself in the career of your choice, which is a nurse, you must put your well being as number one. You have to do that. Even in the midst of all of the learning, all of the new policies and procedures, all of the new skills that you're learning, you have to take some time for yourself. So if that means that you can only take 5 minutes and go into nature or sit and do breath work or do some artistic or whatever that thing is that helps you to kind of escape from things, I encourage you to do that because your well-being is going to be so critical with you even absorbing information and also sustaining yourself in the career of a nurse. I mean, many of us go in, we want to be a nurse like forever. And so you will not be a nurse forever if you are not good at managing yourself, your own well-being, because our patients deserve it and you deserve it as well. You have to take care of your mental health at the same time as you're learning. Now, let me talk to the new nurses. Any new nurses out there? I want to know, like, what is your professional goals? What type of goals do you have for your profession right now as we stand? I know you're new, but what are some of your professional goals? I'd love to hear some. And then my other nurses that have been in the front lines for a long time, is there any advice that you can give to our new nurses? If so, I would love for you to put it in the chat. Thank you so much. Well, I hope this was valuable to you. My next video, I'll be sharing about going into leadership, nurse leadership. And so I look forward to seeing you there. But make sure that you share, like, and follow. If any of this resonated with you, share it with one of your buddies so that you can start managing yourself as you're learning, as things are overwhelming, as things are getting challenging. I want you to always remember to take time out for yourself as a new nurse. And this is what I would tell nurses in 2026.